Good morning, traders. Welcome to Framework Fortune Crypto. Let me fix something right quick here. Bam, there we go. So, I know what you may be wondering. Can I ever be on time? And the answer to that question is very simple. No. No matter how much I try, I am never on time. It looks like the SPY continuing to eat it here today. Had a little rebound, but yeah, look at this daily chart below all indicators. So there's like this little uptrend here that if that breaks, we're going to come down to 450. This is a head and shoulders on the SPY too. Head, shoulder, shoulder. So yeah, it may be about that time. We may be getting close to a pretty nasty pullback. We'll get possibly into some trades in a second, but I was looking at the charts yesterday, the indexes, and I want to dive into this first because we need to understand what market conditions are, especially as we're getting closer. Oh, no, that's not it. Into a possible market crash. So right away, a couple of things I want to point out. The real estate index dropping below this support line that it was trying to hold. It has been selling off. It is almost back down to the uptrend. If that index cracks this uptrend, we could see a crash in the real estate market, at least a pretty strong correction, which would make sense because the Feds have announced they're raising rates. So with rate raises, that means the mortgage rates are going to rise. People are not going to want to buy houses as much if there's higher interest rates on those mortgages, especially investors. So this big spike we had looks like it's very close to coming down. This peak up here, this shoulder here, unless somehow we bounce off of the trend line again, which with tapering and interest rate rises, I don't know if that can happen. So seeing the real estate index is making me concerned that it may crash first, pulling down, or popping not really pulling down, but popping the bubble that is the SPY. So we're not quite there yet. You can see the SPY on the daily. It's still got some areas of support, but that lean that this straight up move has been getting, that lean is getting more and more like it's going to fall over. So you can see that same head and shoulders pattern on the SPY possibly starting to form before but following a little bit behind the real estate index. So then we look at the dollar, and we've been keeping an eye on the dollar for this consolidation. Well, that dollar dumped yesterday. So the dollar lost purchasing power yesterday. It never got close to the top of the trend line. So this is very, very bearish technical analysis wise on the US dollar. This is showing that it is very close to losing more purchasing power. So looking at all these indexes together, it's starting to look real sketchy. Like we're getting very close to that possible pullback. And then because of that, we are seeing oil continue to push. Gold is starting to push back up, holding over 18, and silver slowly trying to push back up. Now, of course, Bitcoin trying to rebound. You can see it on the futures there, still trying to hold up that trend line. And Ethereum on the futures needs to break back over this downtrend, but is also on an uptrend. So at the current moment, cryptos, gold and silver, and oil are looking like where people are putting their money at, because they are taking it out of the US dollar. They're putting it in things because the US dollar is coming down. And the real estate market may be too high. I would say it is too high, especially with the prices I've seen in some areas. And then, of course, we know the stock market is overinflated and overvalued. So we're going to see some interesting things here. Definitely over the next couple of months. This year is going to be a year for changes, to say the least. Whether that's good or bad changes, I don't know. But that technical analysis is really starting to show some ugly stuff. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Michelle. All right, so BTCS yesterday ended up cracking down. I did take a loss on it. It had to bounce back up, but unfortunately, I was on my way back from the doctor's office when it had this pop. I was in my car, and I couldn't get none of this pop, and it came down so fast. So I ended up stopping out and taking about a $70 loss on BTCS, giving back some of the profits from the swing trade. But looking at the daily chart, the 10-day moving average has crossed over the 50. So the EMAs are lined up the way they are supposed to be for a bullish play. 200 at the bottom, 50 in the middle, 10-day above those two. So we could see some bounce action. The only thing I think is because it is a 3-day weekend, the stock market is closed on Monday. These 3-day weekends usually lead to some weird selling in the market. So we got GMVD slowly climbing up. It's on this nice little trend line. Has a downtrend as well, but this 200-day scanner not showing very much. DWAC coming back down a little bit. Let's see, RELI. RELI still on that nice uptrend. And that could pop potentially soon. Let me see this on the daily here. Getting a little bounce. LCID. That was that one that Hal was trading there for a day or two. Let's see, IMMX. So far holding up that $5 support area. I'm getting a nice wedge there, so that could be a play next week. CVFI, that thing not able to make that inverse head and shoulders yet. Might need to actually make a little bit more of a shoulder. An hour has crossed this downtrend, so that was one to keep on watch for next week. Let's see. The only swings I'm still holding, the only stocks that I'm in currently are ISIG still. And see, it's come right down to the bottom of the trend line. It's got to hold up. But I'm not holding this over the weekend. I'm not holding anything that I have. The other thing I'm holding is the 5 shares of DWAC. But DWAC's got to break 75. Let me see the all price Ripper scanner, because this market is looking kind of dead today. Okay, that's strange. Nothing showed up on that list. Let's go to the top 10. Either that it's not working or there's just nothing on that list, which is scary. So top gainers, we got this most. OTC stock, I don't want to do with that. GFAI having a little pop up. SBEV, we can put that on watch. It has broken over the 200 today, so it could possibly keep running, but more than likely the 200 is going to pull it back. It's going to act like a magnet. Don't like that. MYNZ, this is low float, slowly moving up. I like what I'm seeing there, above all moving averages. Yeah, so not much on this list either. So we got an ugly day to start out so far, it seems like. Has anybody made any trades or took any trades? Yeah, I hear you guys about GFAAI, but like I said, it's below this 200-day moving average. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on now. Hold on. Don't. Okay, so this just IPO'd in November 27th. So do we have 200 days? I don't think so. No, we don't have quite 200 days of data for this to be too accurate. It seems to be decently accurate because it is showing where that candle there got held up by the 200. But there's not quite enough information to make that solidly strong. 50-day possibly. I think there's enough room for the 50-day to be decently accurate, and it is broken above that. So this could be a possible play. So let me put it on my watch list. The only reason that I would break this rule is because the 200 is not going to be accurate. So we are below it, but it's not accurate. This could be a possible play. We'll keep it on watch. But if I do take a trade on it, it's going to be I'm not going to be holding it for very long. Anything today I don't plan on holding. So look at that 1 hour. You can see where it's went straight up on the 1 hour. The EMAs are way back down here at 125. There's the 15. So we're flat topping at the 15. So once this gets done pulling back, we'll wait and see if we find a play. But with this flat topping on the 15, it's probably not going to move over $2 at the moment. No news there. DWAC kind of making a little bit of a double peak. See, bounced off that 50. Let's take this line off. So DWAC is trying to hold up the 10-day. That's exactly what it's doing right now. Trying to confirm that on this hour chart. Now we didn't get any wicks down or selling pressure down from that pullback just now. Now, I gotta wait for this 15-minute candle to close. I'm not gonna do anything with that at the moment. See, ISIG, are you gonna hold? ISIG is right now at my entry, so that's why and I messed up on ISIG. I should have locked this out when it shot up to that 28.80. That was a bad deal on my part, not locking it out, because I even said I was looking for 30, and it gave me twice times to try to lock it out for that nice profit I had. So Yeah, I'm still holding because the daily chart still looks like it could pop. But like I said, I don't know if I want to hold it over this 3-day weekend. I really don't. GMVD. Let me go back to that. This is above. Yeah, it's quite a ways above, but right on this trend line, I kind of like what I'm seeing here. Possibly. Let's give that some more time. Yeah, GFAI still pulling back. I would imagine GFAI is going to pull back to 150. It might try to hold 165. See, where's this 5-minute trend line at? If you draw the trend line, yeah, 150. Yeah, if it comes back down to 150 and holds, might take an entry there. SBEV just broke this downtrend. I'm going to jump in here, 100 shares, and see if this continues to push up and breaks 3 or not. Because we dojied right here on the 5-minute, followed by a green candle that was a little bullish, and then now this candle on the 5-minute starting to look pretty decently bullish. So all I'd like to see is just like a little pop back up to that 322 area for a small little win. It's 286. So I'm gonna put in a 10-cent stop loss. Let's see. Give that some time. Okay, come on back down, GFIA. Come on, give me some little pop out of there. Give me a pop over 3. No, we need to see this push up. Let me actually draw the trend line on the 15-minute because that makes more sense. There we go. So we're testing at 275 as support again. You get up over that area, up over that 290 area, the top of this body of where this candle started selling off. If we get rejected at this downtrend, this will come down. So I got my stop loss ready, but let's keep an eye on GFAI. This daily chart. 162 is the 50-day. That is about where the trend line is at. If I could get that there, that would be pretty good. Let me see SBEV on the daily again. So I'm gonna take my stop loss out for a second. Just because I may have had it too tight. Looking at this daily, the 200 is at 264. So where I got in there, that'd be 22 cents. Yeah, I'm actually going to put it below. I'm going to put my stop loss below the 200-day moving average. And I got stopped out there, just pulled right back to it. That's what I was saying. Is when you have these plays like this where they're breaking, when the first time that they're breaking over the moving average in a while, they've got to try to confirm that 200-day moving average. But even though it was above the price, it still acted as a magnet and pulled the price back down. So that's what I was seeing if it was going to try to hold. But that little candle there ruining that whole pattern, so that's done. Of course, again, this thing's under $5, so these ones that are under $5, oh, that's not the right one. SBEV. Yeah, under $5, under $3. These things never want to be predictable. They like to crack down. SPY's trying to find some support around 462. ISIG did bounce off the trend line in the 10 days so far, back above 22. So it makes me nervous about this one, it being under $5. Let's see. Oh no, yeah, GFI. Okay, well I didn't read this, I didn't see this PR. So they're buying 2 China-based AI robotic service firms. Okay. That is interesting. There we go. Come on back down. Give me that entry I want right there off of that 162. Ooh, a lot of orders right there at 168. I'm going to start building a position here in case it doesn't come back down anymore. I want that 162 entry, but I don't know if I'm going to get it because it's starting to hold. This weather in Wisconsin, it was 0 degrees and below with the wind chill 2 days ago, or maybe it's 3 days ago. The last 2 days jumped back up into like the high 30s and 40s. And then today we're back down under the 20s. So this weather's messing with me bad. Messing with my sinuses and my allergies. As I have been sneezing all week with these rapid weather changes. And it's not like a sickness sneeze. It's just like dryness from the whole entire weather just being funky. What's up, dude? Donnell? um, yeah, I mean, right now, today, with it being Friday and Monday being closed in the stock market, there's not really a lot on the scanner today to really pay too much attention to. I'm kind of breaking a few rules, looking for some little plays here on the only things that are moving, but I'm just looking for quick plays. Yeah, I knew I shouldn't trade that SBEV. Yeah, don't. It's more likely than not. Anytime a stock comes up to on the daily chart like this to the 200 and gets stuck there, it usually stays right there. Okay, GFI, you're starting to hold 175 area. I'm gonna add another 50 shares here. Let's go into that 1 hour chart. Yeah. I may add 50 more. Yeah, I'm adding 50 more. I'm trying to. Oh, okay. There we go. So I got 150. It started holding up 180 very strong. This 5-minute candle's fixing to close. But my average is 176. So we got to see that 176 area, or 175 hold up as support. Let's see, my line is actually a little bit off when you look at it on the 15-minute, that trend line. It'd be more like that. So it may have, yeah, it may still have to come back down to 162. It depends if it can rebound, back over this 209 area on this 15-minute candle, the double top. SPY still coming down. What's up, Mike B? What's up, Lori Lee? Hey, that's awesome to hear, Mike B. I'm very glad to hear that you made your first successful trade today. GFAI at 158, sold at $2. Beautiful, man. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. So that is awesome, man. Good job. Trying to get mine today on GFAI, but I can see why you got in early. There was a little U-shaped little curl right there. It also held up some support. Looks like probably that was pre-market support at that 125. 125 is a natural support and resistance line. We know that. So I mean, it gave you time to get in for sure. But right here, as it started uptrending, I don't know where you got in. I'm just looking at the possible entries where I might have took. I probably would have took it right at. Well, you said what you bought it at. You hit on BT. Well, I had a stop loss in on BTCS. So I mean, I did take a little bit of a loss. I took a $70 loss, but yeah, I stopped out after it had that big drop down. I stopped out like right here below that previous support that was trying to hold. So I didn't get destroyed on BTCS. I just gave back some of the profit from the swing. So I don't know how far you held it down to, David, but hopefully not too much, especially with the amount of shares that you had. But BTCS is probably not done. I would be surprised if it's done. I think it just needed a breather. We had a big run yesterday, so that's why I kept saying it's a possibility it could pull back. HH actually, towards after hours, we were looking at it together, and he was saying yesterday it was going to keep pulling back because he's looking for like a $5 entry on BTCS. I don't know if he'll get it that low, but it's close. It's at 612. This thing is still struggling to get over 180. It's got to get over 180 here soon. We cannot keep struggling right here. DWAC, not really doing much. SBEV bouncing off of that 10 days. So it looks like it's possible I was just too early in the SBEV on my entry. Which it came right down to my stop loss and hit. That's the exact price that it dropped down to. Stupid market makers. Oh, I'm always watching BT. I'm always keeping an eye on BTCS. It looks like it will be January 25th that he will be back on the channel on the 26th probably. So towards the end of this month, Charles Allen, the CEO of BTCS, will be back on. He just confirmed a date for the recording, so that's perfect. Perfect timing. Tell him to cut you a check. Sicilian said that I didn't know FOMO was an actual stock. I like the dig there at BTCS. Alright, we finally starting to break through 180 a little bit, peeking there. Peeking little heads up. We got 30 seconds on this 15-minute candle. I'd really like to see that 5-minute candle push up a little bit higher, like the 185, but it ain't gonna happen. So we cracked that 175 again. This is having so much trouble holding up 175. This is the problem when you're trading in a market where the SPY continues to dump these support levels, even on these bullish stocks, these ones that are above the EMAs, these support levels are struggling to hold because everybody's starting to panic sell. A lot of panic selling going to happen. And, most of the stuff that we've been saying was going to come has continued to come. Higher inflation. I'm going to read some of these SPY press releases this morning and see what these numbers are looking like. I may just cut out of everything in a second. I ain't trying to give a stock market no more of my money. Yeah, that could Could certainly cause some issues. Alright, this thing is moving slow. Wow, CVFI just dumped. I'm gonna take that off the list for now. BTCS is just going sideways. Yeah, GFI is coming down, but it's still above the 10-day and it's still above the uptrend, so it's just testing this 175 still. It did crack below it, but we are getting buyers trying to still come in. But yeah, we don't want it to drop much more. It's got to hold these areas. Hold above 170. Yeah, see, still buyers are coming in right there. All right, real quick, I'm going to take a quick little break here. I'm glad this is slowly moving. It's just kind of consolidating. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. So this little bugger still trying to hold up. Dipped down to the trend line but was bought up off of it, so that's a decent sign. We got through it. 2.5 minutes on this 15-minute candle to close. But this still could crack. We got to see. Still need about 10 minutes to make sure this is going to hold up. Because the thing that concerns me, like, it looks good on the 15-minute, but we go back to the hour chart and the EMAs are way down here. You know, so we have to build this 175 support area, which is what's taking it so long. But the longer it takes, the more the buyers get tired. DWAC having a little pop back up there to 70. It's going to have to break back above 70 if it's going to move. Let me see this on the 1 hour. Interesting. Interesting little chart pattern on DWAC. Bounced off that 50-day. Here's the downtrend, but we break back over 70. This thing would still be bullish. Yeah, every time it's bounced off the 50, it has a nice move up, it looks like. Bounce there, bounce there. Another bounce this morning in pre-market. Well, I told you what I thought on Prague. I don't like it at all. You know, look at this. Look how bearish it is. This is the hour chart, and it's way below the 50 and the 200 on the hour chart. But that daily chart, like I said, you know, it's right in. I mean, it's bearish. It's below all EMAs, so it could easily continue to sell off. Could it try to hold support right here where it's at 150? It could. It could try, but if it doesn't, then it would drop down to 125 and maybe even all the way down to that 75 and fill the gap to the downside. So I don't like it. I don't know what you guys saw in the first place, because I know you guys have been talking about Prague. It had that one little uptrend, but that 200 coming from this far down, making this nice rip above that 200. From where it came so far away to get up there, it pulled right back down to it. 200 is always, I'm going to act like a magnet. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it bounces off this 150. Does look like that is what is trying to happen, as there is quite a bit of orders at 159, but I just don't like it. It's too bearish. It's been under the 200-day the whole year, except for that 2 or 3 weeks where it did pop over. But 2 or 3 weeks holding above the 200, and that's it for the entire year. The stock is just naturally bearish. I bet if I look on the weekly chart, yeah, look at there. So this thing has been downtrending since 2020 in May. Or was that June? June. Since June. And you draw the downtrend, it's got to break $5 before it can ever get back bullish. So looking at it on this weekly chart, I mean, that's looking a little sketchy there. Said maybe it holds up here, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It's below the all moving average, so it's super bearish. So more than likely it's not going to hold up, especially since it has constantly been downtrending since that stock has been on the market. So we're given another little test here of this support. There we go, getting bought up off it again. Plus, another thing is, if the SPY keeps dropping, especially if it yanks down hard, then it could very easily not matter at all about anything with GF or with Prague at the moment, because if the stock market was to yank back, $10 on the SPY back to that support level, more than likely Prague and everything is going to be affected by it. We've got to see some candles pop over 180. You're not trading till earnings week, Orlando? Earnings weeks are always a little weird. Usually, it's like, well, I don't know. The way you swing trade, I don't know how earnings is going to affect you, but as far as day trading the stocks that we do, usually during earnings, we see a lot of good dead cat bounce opportunities. Earnings season is my favorite time to look for dead cat bounces, because a lot of earnings will come out and be good and the stock still dump. Like, not on every single stock, but the ones that they dump where the earnings were good, well, that's pretty obvious that that's probably going to bounce. So you do get a lot of dead cat bounces. You may have to come all the way down to the 10-day on this at 160, because it is below, the 10-day is below the trend line, hasn't quite caught up. But see, it's the problem though. If it drops all the way down to 160 and doesn't hold, then this loss is going to get bigger and bigger. So I really don't want to see it come down there. I want to see this trend line hold, but really struggling to do so. Pretty mixed. SBEV starting to climb back up. A little uptrend there that's formed. So this thing is probably going to annoy me today because it stopped me out right at that damn bottom. Ugh. All right, GFAI has got like 5 or 10 minutes at max to try to hold up here. Well, we just ate through a lot of orders on the ask. But these could very easily be shorters coming in here. Looking for the crack of this trend line. Alright, looks like we're going to break through 175. Well, possibly. We took out a lot of sellers. And it is holding strong still. I almost clicked like I did yesterday. I got to stop trying to click on the level 2 on accident. Come on, get through there. If we don't break through 175, these are not buyers coming in. These are shorters, so we got to be very careful. We got to get to this 175. We still got to break above 180. So we got, this whole 5-cent area. Still a lot of orders on the ask. Okay, so we did throw a little wick back through 175. Alright, we're getting bids stacking. Those bids were very short-lived. Yeah, well, there's not really anything going on really in the stock market at the moment, so it's not like there's a ton of plays to be on. Yeah, I know this is boring. At the moment, there's no excitement, but that's just part of it. Especially on a Friday like today, going into a long weekend. Remember, if you didn't know, the stock market is closed on Monday, so that I will not be live streaming on Monday morning. Don't wake up early to trade the stock market. It will not be open. All right, we may let's see if we get over 180. There's still a lot of pressure A lot of orders on the ask. But you can see at the top of that candle is 177. These two flat tops. So we definitely got to get over that too. So we actually got 175, 177, and 180 all acting as pretty strong resistance at the moment. Oh, look at you, Daniel B. Coming in already starting. Please tell me what stock you've traded this week that is not garbage, Daniel B. What trade have you made that is not garbage, a garbage stock? Yeah, so the 5% above the 200, I mean, you could put it to like 1% or 200 or 2%, but it would catch a lot of stocks that would be like SBEV or whatever, where they're just now breaking over the 100, so or over the 200. So I don't want them like SBEV. Like I said, I probably should have took that trade in the first place, but it would show these ones that have popped up the day of. So I don't really want to deal with those. Is SBEV on the scanner now? Yeah, see, no, it's not even on the scanner at the moment, because it's probably not 5% above the 200. Because even though this is above the 200, it just now broke above it, and the 200 is acting as a magnet and pulling it back down. So I don't want to see these. This is a trade I probably shouldn't have took in the first place, although it is doing what I wanted it to do. Just got stopped out early on it. And then as far as the maximum shares is not 1 million on that. The maximum shares would be 100 million. But that is because I like to trade low float stocks. There's not a float type of deal on Thinkorswim, so shares is the closest thing to the float. Shares are usually going to be more than what the float is, but generally the float is close to that amount of shares. But I want them under 100 million, because those are the ones that are going to give you the biggest rip, right? There's less supply of shares, so when those stocks get high demand, they have nice runs. Whereas if you like trade Apple, or for example, Daniel B traded AFRM today. Let's go take a look at it. Is it the right one? Yeah, AFARM. See how many shares of float is this? Yeah, so this is 281 million, it looks like, in shares. So a little bit higher float, and you can see today it moved from 70 up to 75. That was a decent move. But you talk about me trading a garbage stock. Look at this ugly ass pattern you traded, Daniel B. You traded something that was downtrending under all EMAs. Maybe you got that pop out of pre-market, but I mean, this thing it couldn't even break the downtrend today. This thing's still downtrending. But anyway, because the shares are 280 million, it's a little bit higher. It's not going to move quite as fast, and that's why you see, today we're in a price range of 70 to 74. But it takes a lot more capital to trade a $74 stock. I mean, to get in here and make some profit on this $5 rip, if you go 10 shares, you could make $50, but that's $700 you're investing to make $50. Whereas on GFAI, I've got 150 shares of this. It's way lower float, only 21 million. And for me to make $50, I only have $160 invested versus the whatever I said, that big large amount of money it would take to make the same $50. So that's why I don't trade those higher price, higher float stocks. Like DWAC has a very low float, and DWAC, you can see the price range over the last week, every single day has been at least $5 price range. This day was $44 up to $62. That's a big difference in price range versus that higher float that Daniel B traded. That's what, $10? No, that's more than $10. That's $17 that day. The price range, 50 up to 60, $10 on this day. 55 up to 66, $11 on this day. 62 up to 71, $10 on this day, just about. So it's a totally different thing. Like for what Daniel B invested on AFRM to sit there and look for that play to get that amount of money, he could have done the same thing on DWAC just by buying this bounce. This bounce was almost a $5 bounce. But that float is a lot lower, so it's a lot quicker. So that's why I want the shares under 100 million. I'm not trying to grandpa trade like Daniel B and spend a ton of capital to get a $4 rip possibly. When I could make the same amount of profit per share on smaller price stocks. Just like BTCS, for example. BTCS, this was way cheaper, and you could have got $3-4 rip out of this thing. Even maybe even $5 rip over a few days span. And that $5 rip on the amount of shares it cost Daniel B to trade AFRM this morning, it's just not it's a whole different percentage game. But penny stocks are a little bit more risky. Low float stocks are definitely more risky, but higher risk, higher reward. You just have to understand that you got to keep your losses to a minimum because you're not going to win every single trade. Hell, you might not even win 50% of your trades. But like I've shown you guys several times in the past, I only need to win one trade out of 5 trades as long as I've kept my stop losses tight on those other 4 losses. One decent win can make up for those other losses and be profitable. It does look like this is going to crack. It's really struggling to hold. We're no longer moving up the uptrend. Let's see. Christopher Cormier, you said what I think about CEN, formerly Naked. I did not like it when it was Naked, so I probably am not going to like it just because they changed their name. So if this was formerly NKD, let me show you why I don't like Naked. Why I didn't like Naked ever. This is the max chart on what is this? Naked. So this Naked was definitely not $17,000 in 2016. What has happened is they've done a bunch of common offerings and splits, stuff like that, and continue to dilute the shares. So they've continued to add to their float to raise money, and that just devalues it because the more you have to stay above a certain price to stay on the Nasdaq. So I don't know why they changed their name. Yeah, maybe to get away from this old chart. Maybe that's what their problem is they're scared that investors don't want to touch it because of how ugly that chart is. So I don't know. With this new ticker, that doesn't really change how it moved before. So we'll see what it does. But yeah, I'm not big on that. It's not a big deal. Yeah, but you were in and out in 5 and 7 minutes. But how much capital did you have to put in for that trade, Daniel B? That's you didn't really say. Yeah, so Tom Connors. So the reason why I've increased that price is because of looking at TraderSync. So I use TraderSync, one of our affiliate partners. That's a journaling software, which I don't promote it that much. We're going to be promoting it soon, but me and Hal are both still trying to figure out exactly, how everything works with it, because there is a whole lot with TraderSync that it gives you, like a ton of information. Yeah, so you spent $7,000, Daniel B, on 100 shares, where I spent $250 on GFAI. So, what was your percentage gain? like if you bought 7 grand of this morning at $1.20 and it runs up a whole dollar, 7 grand, that'd be a 7 grand win. What was your win on the trade that you took that cost you 7 grand? What was your win? 100 shares of what? But anyway, back to Tom Connor's question. So when I've looked at these reports on here, one thing it shows you is it shows you the price range of, and I still got to update this for the end of December, but it shows you the price range, if I can figure out where it was at. A breakdown of the trades that I've took. Yeah, right here. So look right here. My biggest losses have been on stocks. Well, that one was not quite accurate, but right here, under $5, I've lost quite a bit more money than I have on like the $10 to $20 range. So the $3, $2 stocks, they tend not to break out quite as big, right? Like this is a very nice breakout, a whole dollar move, but a whole dollar move on a stock that's only $1.20 is a huge move. A dollar move on DWAC is a 5-minute candle. So, there's that price difference and stuff. But even like ISIG, a $1 move is still, because this is low float, one 5-minute candle. DWAC is trying to break back over 70. GFAI is still not really doing anything. Let me see this 15-minute. But yeah, just in my personal experience, you just don't get as big of rips consistently under $3, really under $5, but sometimes $3 stocks can go on a nice rip, as you do in the $10 to $20 range. That's why I like the $10 to $20 stocks. And also, I'm not risking that much to get a nice move. Like to make $100 on a $20 stock like ISIG, if I go 10 shares, it just needs to move $10. Well, this move the other day was 21 up to 24, so that one wasn't a big enough one, but you at least get on 10 shares, $5, $6 rip, that would be $50. But your risk, if you're risking to try to get $5, you could risk $1 movement for a stop loss on that 10 shares in this price range, and risk $10 to make an easy $50. So you're getting a 4-to-1 risk ratio, whereas Daniel B, all the money he's putting in, it's just kind of scary. Let's see, like I'm already up $4 on DWAC per share. And if DWAC is to break out here and actually break over 75, we know this thing can run huge because it did it before. This thing ran all the way to 175, and it's bullish on an uptrend. All right. Let's see. Yeah, so you took $7,000 to make $235, Daniel B. That is not efficient or consistent. I mean, you can be consistently doing that trade, making that trade like that, keeping your losses tight and be profitable. But as far as like maximizing your capital to get the most for your capital, you are really doing a bad job of that. You are not maximizing capital whatsoever. But it's easy to go in with $7,000 and throw it in something where it pops up a couple of dollars and you make $300. That's easy. It's easy to do. I mean, if you have 10,000 you can throw in a stock, you put a nice top stop loss, a nice tight stop loss, and you buy it off of an uptrend anywhere, off of a bounce of a support area or something, and it's that high of a stock, you can get a couple of dollars. But again, that is an exorbitant amount of capital that you are putting out there to the amount of gain that you're making. And Roblox 2%. See, I'm not looking for 2 and 3% gains. I'm looking for 50, 60% gains.
That's the difference between us trading. I don't use options. Number one, Daniel B, you got to be kidding me, man. You got to be kidding right now. I'm talking about telling me to put that type of money on the line. Like, you got to be joking. Like, do you forget that I trade other things besides penny stocks? Like, it's like, how much do you think I have in cryptos right now? That's why I love cryptos, because they're better than low float stocks, because I can put very little capital in and make 400-500% gains in a small amount of time, like a month or 2 months. Small amounts of capital with huge upside potentials. But anyway, back to your question, might be about options. Number one is, to trade options, you have to be on a margin account. I have a disgust for margin accounts. Number one reason being is because on margin, you're borrowing somebody else's money. If you lose more money that's in your account, you will have to pay that money back to the broker. There's been plenty of horror stories of traders trading options on margin and losing their house. There's a lot of dumb kids who came in this past 2 years into the options market and things like that. And they were basically gambling. That's kind of how Wall Street Bets started, was everybody was doing those options. So that's the number one thing, is it's too risky to me to be on a margin account. Number two, options don't really have, you could put in a stop loss, but with an options contract, you either have to be right or you are wrong. There is no break even with options as far as like a single option trade. Like if you're saying that the price is going to go up in that option contract and the price just stays even, then you actually lose the same amount that you would lose if you were 10 cents off and it wasn't right. Like the break even, there's just not a break even point. You're either a winner or a loser with options. So that's another risk thing I don't like. But the third reason would be, it's complicated. Like we're buying people, and options to me is just an overcomplicated way to buy people. I need to rephrase the way I'm saying that. We're not buying actual people. We're buying off of the actions of people. So options to me is just more complicated for no reason. It's like there's some good reasons to use options if you're using covered options and you're like investing on a longer time period where you buy some stocks, and to kind of offset your risk, you'll buy some options against the direction that you expect the stock to go. But you're covered because the option contract you took out was on the shares that you bought. So if the price goes up, you can cut the option and you'll still make your nice profit. But if the price goes down and your option was a put against, is it put or call? I don't know all the exact terminology, but either way, against the option, and the price goes down on the stock, well, then that means the option price will go up, so that will offset the loss you took from the stock dropping down. So covered options is about the only thing that I would probably get into myself. But yeah, that's pretty much the main reasons. Is it worth it to learn? I don't know. I trade cryptos and stocks, so I'm pretty happy with the profits I make. off of trading both of them together. I don't really want to complicate my trading process any more than it is, but that's me personally. I like to keep things simple in the first place, right? Because I'm a simple guy. So, Joe Mac, I don't actually trade Bitcoin. I don't even buy Bitcoin. I have a little bit of Bitcoin. I bought back when it was 20,000, and I've got it sitting in my hardware ledger wallet. That's about all the Bitcoin I've got. It's not very much. It's like $100 worth of Bitcoin because I don't technically believe in Bitcoin personally. There's better projects out there, in my opinion. But the main reason I don't trade Bitcoin goes back to the point I was just talking about maximizing your profits with the least capital. Um, Bitcoin is 40,000. So to get a 50% or to get a 100% gain on Bitcoin, for Bitcoin to double in price, it's got to go to 80,000 or 100,000. So you're taking a ton of capital to try to get, 100% gain with Bitcoin. Whereas if I go and trade Shiba Inu and, it's under a penny, I can buy tons of shares and it can move from quad 02 to quad 04. That's a double. That's a 100% gain. And that's a lot less distance to go for a 100% gain than it is with Bitcoin from 50,000 to 100,000 or whatever. So, the brokerage I use I have two different brokerages. I use Coinbase, but I don't use Coinbase. There's two different apps for Coinbase. So there's Coinbase Pro. Coinbase is a basic kind of beginner level app. There's some learn to earn videos that they put in that app where you can get free cryptos for just watching a couple of short videos about the new crypto that's come out or whatever, and they'll give you a couple of dollars in that crypto. That is nice though, because you consistently can get some cryptos that might actually shoot up in price, and even though you only got like 3 or 4 of them, or maybe you got 100 of them, for the learn and earn, because they were so cheap. If they go up to like a couple of dollars, well, you made a couple of free cryptos there that's worth a little bit more than you thought. But anyway, to keep it short, I don't use Coinbase, the regular app, to trade on. I only use that Coinbase for the learn and earns, and because I have the Coinbase debit card, so I can spend my cryptos and I earn crypto back. Instead of cash back, I get 4% back on every purchase in AMP right now. So I've almost got 1,000 AMP. It's a 5-cent crypto just from the crypto back reward. So if AMP was to ever go to 10 cents and I've got 1,000 of them, double the amount that I got back in that crypto amount. What I used to trade on though is Coinbase Pro. Coinbase Pro is not great. It's not even that good, but it's cheaper fees than Coinbase, and it has pretty good fills. It usually fills orders pretty quickly. But once you sign up for regular Coinbase, your login for Coinbase is the same exact login for Coinbase Pro. So you don't have really two separate accounts. It's just two different apps with two different wallets. So you can transfer money back and forth, cryptos back and forth from Coinbase to Coinbase Pro for free. There's no gas fees because the wallets are connected in a way. So DWAC almost up to 72, starting to look pretty decent there. And GFAIs are still slowly climbing up this trend line. But then the other one I use is Voyager. And Voyager is a very good phone app, but they don't have a desktop yet. They are coming out with a desktop supposedly here very, very soon. When they do that, depending on how that desktop works, if it's as good or better than the way the Coinbase Pro web version works, then I will probably switch completely over to Voyager for my trading. But the reason why I know both Voyager and Coinbase are pretty secure is because both of them are publicly listed on the stock market. Coinbase is a coin, so with the stock being on the Nasdaq, Coinbase, you see right there, Coinbase, you can you're going to get transparency because they have to be transparent with all their earnings, all of that stuff, everything going on. At least more transparent than a company that's not publicly on the stock market. And then Voyager is VGF or VYGVF right here. So Voyager is on the OTC markets, but they are a they are younger than Coinbase. So eventually, I'm sure they will uplist to the Nasdaq as they continue to grow their user base. But it is younger. The OTC market has some lesser restrictions on reporting, but VGF is up on all of their reporting. So if you do like to look at OTC stocks for longer term investments, you need to have OTCmarkets.com on your list so you can pull those tickers up. So like VG, what is it? VYG, Voyager Digital. So when you come to OTC markets, it is on the pink sheets, but they have a verified profile. They are certified, and they have a board of independent directors. So they are up to date with all their reporting, right? Yeah, their last quarterly report was in November, so that was only a month and a half ago. So even though they're in the OTC markets, they are a little bit, they're still pretty transparent. Let's see here. GFAI, what are you doing? Still slowly climbing up the trend line, but testing it again. ISIG has started to come back alive a little bit, pushing over 22. And then DWAC looks like it is wanting to get it here. GFAI, I don't know if it's going to continue to climb or not. It keeps struggling. It struggled there, hitting 185 and getting rejected. And the actual tops of these two candles got rejected at 180. So it's going to have to break over 180 soon. If it cracks this trend line, it is done. I'm going to go ahead and put, what am I in at? 176. So we'll put in a stop loss at let's put at 163. I just don't want to get yanked by the market makers again like they got me on SBEV. Although SBEV did continue to sell off, it didn't actually rip. Cracking down out of that triangle. All right, let's see. Yeah, see David Davis, covered calls. Exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, I understand, Orlando, what you're saying. You can maximize your profits with it because you do get to buy it cheap. You buy the contract cheaper than the amount of the actual shares that you would be buying. So when you buy an options contract, you're buying the contract, and this is why I said this is one of the reasons why I don't like it, because it's overcomplicated. You're buying the contract, and in the contract, say you're buying Apple or whatever, and in the contract for the option, you're buying a basket basically of 400 shares in that contract. You're not actually buying the 400 shares of Apple. You're just buying the contract that 400 shares will go up or down in price, right? So you get the contract for a lot cheaper than actually buying into an option or buying that amount of stocks. But again, there's no break even level and all those other negatives that I said. So I mean it can be very profitable. You can make some big money trading options, but you can also lose a lot of money trading options, a lot more. I just don't like Oh yeah, yeah. So I'll show you my Coinbase Pro account real quick. I'll show you how it looks. So this is Coinbase right here. Like I said, I do not use the regular app for anything but my cashback rewards and the learn and earn. So right there you can see I've earned $71 in all the learn and earns that's came out because I do every single one of them because it's free money. Why the hell would you not? And then right here's the pay. You see I've earned $87 so far in 4% back amp, but you look, I've almost got 1,000 amp. I have 800 amp from crypto back. I also have 80 stellar lumens off of crypto back. But this is the Coinbase. Coinbase is going to have some options. Like I like to come to Coinbase for this trade tab here, and you can look at the top percent gainers. Looks like we got two new ones, and farms up too. Two new ones popped up today, both up 45%. So this one is 14 cents, up 45%, while Daniel B's trading using $7,000 to trade a $70 stock. This little 14-cent crypto, you could have got at least a 43% gain on, or this $3 one. But anyway, you know how much Daniel B hates making money. I'm going to click back over Thinkorswim real quick, make sure this isn't cracking. Okay. No, we're looking all right for now. But here's Coinbase Pro. So this is all it is. You do have the portfolio where you can go click on, and that's where you're going to go to send money and receive money. But you get a nice little chart. You don't get very many things to work with. You get like 6 time frames. So I actually use TradingView for my charting for cryptos anyway, which is this thing here, because that shows stocks, cryptos, pretty much every type of market TradingView shows. TradingView has a free version, but it depends on how many things you're going to keep up with, because I have a whole list of stocks and investments and things I keep up with. I do have the paid a version of the paid version. I don't have like the highest crazy one, but I think it's like $15 a month. You can have an unlimited stop or unlimited watch list, and then you can add multiple EMAs. So I like my EMAs on there, but I use this. I'll have TradingView up on one screen, and then I'll have Coinbase Pro up on the other, and then I usually just market order in. Like you can use limits and stops, but yeah, I mean anything that can be charted on a candlestick chart can be traded. Stocks are not special to that. All right. Naked puts can destroy you. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Naked options is very risky. Yeah. Don't ask me about Cosmos. We will be here all day. Of course, if you've been following me about Cosmos, Adam and the the Framework Fortune crypto channel, you know, I've been talking about Cosmos since it was $6, and you can go look it up. Adam, I think, is at 37 right now. Probably it was pushing new highs of 40. But yeah, don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on anything. We're coming to the end of the day. Don't get me started on any more rants. All right. ISIG will drop $5 before Apple. Well, you lost because Apple's already dropped $5. No, it's dropped. It did have a drop from 173 to 171, so that's $2.50. It's halfway dropped to where you were talking about. ISIG. Ooh, ISIG just dumped. Let's see. Are we holding up this trend line? I didn't see that. See, you tried to get me. I wasn't paying attention to ISIG. Finally cracked. So yeah, I may have to get out of this thing. Yeah, screw it. I'm getting out of it. I ain't holding this any longer. Well, actually, Apple and let's see, ISIG dropped $1. So Apple's dropped $3. But the point I was trying to make was this is a lot cheaper, lower float stock than Apple. And Apple's price, because Apple is whatever, $200 or something, it moving $5 down is nothing for Apple. Whereas a $5 drop on ISIG would be, quite a drop. That goes back to what I was saying as far as maximizing capital. Let's see. Yeah. Trend line is right on that trend line, but looking kind of bearish. I'm gonna just probably it could come out, it could come if it doesn't hold this 10-day, it come all the way back down to the 15 area on this 50-day moving average. It's starting to bounce. Yeah, I'm just going to put a stop loss on it for the day under that 2081. Right under that little candle there. Oops, that's not quite low enough. Wait, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. All right, GFAI still trying to hold up. If you're able to trade 7,000, why wouldn't you use 5 to 7,000 instead of just 1,000? I don't. I'm not getting your question because also, if it's your cash, it wouldn't be leverage. Leverage means that you borrowed money from somebody else. Well, see, David is very excited about Prague. So, yeah, I mean, Prague had a little bounce today so far. I mean, it's like 15 cents. off of this little breakout there of that U shape. It's moved 5 cents, 6 cents. Good for a scalp, but again, this is why I don't trade these type of things. I don't like to look for these little 5-10 cent scalps. Like I said, I'm looking for the most maximization of capital to profit. So I mean, like on this, if you're scalping this, you could buy 1,000 shares of it. It makes that little 6 cent move. You made, $60. But again, if GFAI just runs up over $2 up to like 215, I've only got like 200, not even $200. Well, maybe, let's see. I got about 280 invested in this. So if it runs up to that 215, I can make $50 off of this only on a $280 investment versus the $1,000 6 cent scalp on Prague. What's up, Ruben? Now, don't trust the SPY at all. See, that was smart, David Davis. If you played AMC and you got it halfway to the moon and sold it, that's what you do. You lock out the profits. You don't continue to hold AMC expecting it to keep ripping and ripping when it's already ripped. It went from a crazy low amount to a high amount. There's plenty of there's people who trade OTCs, but here's the thing with OTC market stocks. You can't market order in on certain platforms. Like Thinkorswim, you can't market order in to an OTC stock. I think you can with Charles Schwab and maybe like one or two other platforms, Fidelity. But also another thing with OTC stocks, they are not free commission trades. Fidelity is one of the very few platforms that I know of that has commission-free OTCs, but OTC market also covers foreign stocks. So even if you're using Thinkorswim or anything, if you buy one of those foreign stocks and you don't know that there's a higher fee or something like that, like normally the fee for OTC trading on Thinkorswim is around $5 to $7 per buy, per sell. So it's going to cost you on Thinkorswim $10 to $15 just to get in and out of an OTC stock, right? So if you're trading with a small account, every single trade you take is going to cost you $15 or $10, so you're going to have to at least make that amount of profit every trade to make up and just break even. And like I was saying, if it's a foreign stock, it may not be $5 to $10. Sometimes those fees can be $50 to $100, depending on what market and exchange that's got to come out of. So, I mean, I would disagree with anybody on trading OTC stocks for day trading. Shiba Inu. The crypto I'm talking about is Shiba Inu. I might have said it fast. It might have sounded like I said Shiba. But I didn't make that name up. It's stupid. There's some really dumb cryptos out there. Just like there are garbage OTC stocks. Like we're pretty late into the stream. I can go ahead and say it. They probably won't catch it on the algorithm. There is a adult entertainment project being worked on. It's a blockchain project, and the ticker symbol is Cummies. And I'm going to put that in the chat. You can go look this up. Well, actually, I'll just pull it up and show you guys. Just because it's entertaining. And nothing's really going on right now except for GFIA starting to break over 185. So that's pretty nice to see right there. Looks like it may try to get up to that $2. So real quick, I'm going to pull this up just in case GFAI starts to run. Because like I said, I'm just looking for that move up to 215 for a quick, easy $50. Oh yeah. Okay, it's not moving. I was just making sure it wasn't going to rip because it is still low float stock. Come on, man. But it's taking its time, so I don't have to worry about it. It's all right. Let's see here. You didn't do it. Come on. Load up. Let's go. So, I hope you guys can see the name of this coin. So yeah, might be if on the option you only invest, there's still, I mean, run if you like options or you want to learn it. I'm not stopping anybody from doing it. I was just giving you guys my personal opinion and thoughts on options. But yeah, I mean, just do your research. Yeah, so you're trading the same way as well, David Davis. The big bucks for small moves. Y'all are using a lot of capital. Yes, one life. Exactly. Not worth the heart attack. Yeah, exactly. Made 3K on BTCS, lost 500. Good week. That is absolutely a good week. For sure. Brian C. made a killing today on BBIG and GFIA. Or GFAI. So it's funny to see Daniel B argue with David Davis about how David Davis' trading style is not going to make him money. And then you see Brian C coming in who traded two stocks that Daniel B wouldn't trade, who made a killing today. Yeah, TD Mayer trade OTC fee 69.5 or 695. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. But yeah, this is Cum Rocket Cummies. I was just trying to catch up with all the comments there. This is a I don't even want to click on this. All right. So they have NFTs. Yeah. But yeah. This is a crypto. This is a real project. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Oh boy. Let's not scroll down anymore. I'm gonna get banned off YouTube. Let's get off of there. But yeah, just like with cryptos, there's garbage, and it may not be garbage. I don't know. I mean, it's just hilarious. I haven't researched it because that will really change my browsing history if I go and research that coin. uh, exactly, Orlando. You know, there's a lot of ways There's a lot of ways to make money in the market. All I'm saying is I'm not knocking the way Daniel B or David Davis makes money. I'm saying for me, it makes more sense to invest the least amount of money possible to make the most profit possible instead of investing a whole lot of money to make a small amount of profit. The less money you have invested, the less risk you're actually taking. But yeah, the OTC stocks can be the same way as cummies. You're going to see some wild stuff in the OTC market. So to me, it's just not worth trading OTC stocks. Like I said, I'll invest in them. Planet 13 is on the OTC markets. Fantastic company. BTCS was on the OTC markets before it got uplisted. BTCS was 50 cents. Now it's been uplisted and got all the way up to 11. But like here on DWAC, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I have 5 shares of this, so it's about $400 that I have invested. So I'm not risking very much on this play. And if DWAC breaks 75, it's got room up to 83. So that's like a whole nother $10 or something. So for this $300 I have in this trade, if it continues to run up and I get another $10 off of it, that's going to be a $70 win on basically $400 invested versus, to get that same $70 would on a cheaper stock. Let's see here. GFAI starting to come up to that $2 mark. But that whole thing I've been saying, like, I'm not trying to argue Daniel being their ways of making money. I'm just pointing out the reason why I don't like to trade like that. The reason I don't like to trade like that is because you're risking and using a whole lot more capital versus not. So, I mean, that's as simple as it gets. Sicilian, my friend, Sicilian man, you gotta stay focused on one thing, man. I know it gets rough in the stock market. This whole past 2 years, there's been a lot of money to be made in the stock market, but predictability has been shaky, like all year and last year. Yet last year was a little bit easier to predict because it was pretty obvious after the COVID dip when the Federal Reserve said, hey, or actually 2020, I should say, not last year. The Federal Reserve said, oh, we're going to pump money into the market. Well, it was a no-brainer that everything was going to go up at that point in 2020. So there was a good amount of money to be made. But now that we're at the top of this market and the feds are saying, now we're not going to put any more money in, we're actually going to do other things that have the opposite effect. So the market more than likely would have an opposite effect down. But that was, 2020 was an easier year to trade after the pandemic. 2021, not as easy. A lot of money moving around, a lot of volatility, a lot of unpredictability. Unpredictability, is that a word? I don't know. I don't care. Whatever. And now we're at that point where we're at a peak where we possibly could see a big market crash. So predictability is still not great. We need, a nice, hot, uptrending market that's not on the verge of looking like it's going to fall off a cliff. Oh yeah, I mean, listen, that's what I say. Don't, just because I'm on camera and I'm arguing with these guys or we're debating about things doesn't mean that I'm saying not to listen to what they say. You can listen to anything and learn from it, even if it's somebody who's saying something that doesn't make any sense, because if you're trying to make sense of what they're saying and you go do some research and you're like, oh, okay, maybe they didn't know what they were talking about, but they kind of did. So I did some research and I actually found out what they didn't know about it, right? So there's always something to learn from listening to other people. However, taking their words as anything more than words is a bad idea. And that's why I always say do your own research, make your own decisions, because you want to be listening to yourself more than anything else. There's so many times where if I would have just listened to myself, stuck to my plan, I would have made a nice amount of money if I would have done that. But sometimes I get distracted. A lot of people in the chat might be telling me to get out of something. If I don't ignore it, it might affect the way I'm thinking. Because if that thought was never in my head in the first place to jump out at a certain price level because that wasn't a part of my plan, and then that thought gets put in my head, if I'm not disciplined enough to ignore it, then it could start messing with my mental and make me make a decision outside of my trading plan. So that's why your trading plan is important. What Daniel B's trading plan or my trading plan or any of that is irrelevant. It's your trading plan that is going to make you your money, right? So you got to come up with that yourself. And just become your own trader. Because like Orlando says, there's so many different ways to make money in the market. All right, guys, I am way over. I got to get going here. I know it's easy to see a lot of plays in hindsight and be like, I could have made so much money if I was doing this or if I was doing that. But you don't want to look in hindsight like that. You're looking in hindsight to learn from the mistakes that you made, those lessons that you paid for. Because every loss is just you paying for a lesson in the stock market. So if you're not learning from every time you pay the stock market for one of your lessons, then the stock market is going to continue to charge you lessons until you learn your lessons. Basically. But GFAI, it's slowly still climbing up the trend line. It's showing a little bit of strength as it popped up over 190. We'll see if it continues to climb or not. It's got to break $2 if it's going to rip any more at all. But just slowly creeping. And I'm actually going to move my stop loss up on this. Well, I'm not going to move it up yet. I still don't want to get yanked out of this when we're uptrending. Let me look at the 15-minute, how we look. It's not too bad on the 15-minute. On the 1 hour chart, we're looking really good. We got 14 minutes left. We had that little indecision doji getting followed by this big bullish candle. So as long as it continues to hold the trend line and climbs up, we could see it pop back over 2. But we may get rejected at 2. I don't know yet. It's hard to say because you look at the SPY. The SPY is still in a downtrend. So we'll see what happens with that. I'll keep you guys updated on the Discord if I can today. How would doing a reverse split make a stock more stable, Daniel B? If you do a reverse split, you're reversing the amount of shares, so you're making the float a smaller amount. So that would be less supply. how would less supply make a stock more stable? That doesn't even make any sense. Like, at all, what you just said. Like, not even in the slightest bit. Anyway, I don't know. I'm going to call it a day, guys. We'll see what happens with these plays. GFAI is starting to crack a little bit. It's got to hold at 175. But we will be back Tuesday. Remember, the market is closed Monday. If you are interested in learning more about cryptos, come join me on the Framework Fortune Crypto channel today at 4 p.m. Central, as I will be doing technical analysis on the overall market and some of the plays that I keep a very close eye on, because I'm either already in them and staking them, earning interest off of them, or I may be looking to enter for some type of day trade. So definitely check that out. It's just Framework Fortune Crypto. You can Google that. Naked would actually have been a stock split, not a reverse stock split. But yeah. Anyway, appreciate everybody joining me as always and hitting that like button. You guys know all the things, and if you don't know all the things that I normally say, well, they're usually in this outro, so watch the whole entire outro if you want to know about more information of the live stream schedule, what channels have what going on, and all of that good stuff. So you guys stay safe out there. Until next time.